The mysterious fog and its alarming effects on health. What's really going on? Have you noticed something unusual about the fog this year? At first glance, fog seems like a normal, harmless weather phenomenon, common during this time of year. But this isn't your ordinary seasonal fog. What's lurking within this mysterious haze? What if the fog isn't just fog? Reports from around the world are pouring in, claiming that people and even pets are falling sick just by stepping outside during foggy conditions. Today, we're diving deep into what could be behind these alarming health effects. We'll explore pollution, geoengineering, chemtrails, and the unsettling possibility that something is being sprayed into our skies that's making its way back down to us. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride. Section 1. Fog and pollution, a deadly combination. Fog has always been a natural phenomenon, a mix of water droplets suspended in the air. But when this natural occurrence combines with high pollution levels, it creates a dangerous cocktail known as toxic fog. We live in an era where our air is saturated with toxins from cars, factories, and power plants. Fog has a unique ability to amplify pollution's effects. Think back to the infamous Great Smog of London in 1952. Over just 5 days, a mix of fog and pollution from coal burning claimed the lives of thousands. History shows us that fog, when contaminated, can be deadly. Here's why. Fog is essentially a dense collection of water droplets suspended in the air. When pollutants like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and particulate matter are present, fog traps these contaminants close to the ground. This creates a concentrated toxic cocktail that we breathe in, often without realizing it. In heavily industrialized areas, fog can act like a magnifying glass for pollution, intensifying its impact on our health. People exposed to polluted fog report respiratory issues, headaches, and even nausea. But what if pollution isn't the only culprit? The air we breathe is increasingly tainted by something far more insidious. Section 2. Enter chemtrails, the controversial geoengineering program. Let's address the elephant in the sky, chemtrails. For years, the term chemtrails was dismissed as a conspiracy theory. But as geoengineering projects become more openly discussed, the line between theory and reality blurs. Now let's take a step into the realm of geoengineering, a controversial practice aimed at combating climate change by manipulating our atmosphere. Geoengineering is the deliberate manipulation of Earth's climate to combat global warming. One method being explored is solar radiation management, SRM. The idea? Spray particles like sulfur dioxide or aluminum oxide into the sky to reflect sunlight and cool the Earth. Sounds like science fiction, right? But it's not. Proponents argue that it's necessary to fight global warming. Critics, however, warn of the unintended consequences, including potential harm to human health. Here's the kicker. When these particles fall to the ground, they don't just disappear. These particles eventually settle back to Earth, mixing with rain, snow, and yes, fog. They mix with the environment, and if they interact with fog, the effects could be magnified. Imagine this. Particles designed to reflect sunlight settle into the fog. The fog then traps these particles near the ground, exposing us to higher concentrations than we'd encounter otherwise. This could explain why so many people are getting sick during foggy conditions. Reports of respiratory issues, skin irritations, and even neurological symptoms are on the rise, particularly in areas experiencing frequent fog and heavy airplane activity. Chemtrails, conspiracy or reality? For years, people have speculated about chemtrails, those long, lingering trails left behind by airplanes. While skeptics dismiss them as harmless contrails, condensation trails, others believe they're evidence of secret geoengineering programs. Here's what we know. Chemtrails are often associated with increased reports of health issues, including respiratory problems, fatigue, and skin irritation. Independent researchers have found elevated levels of metals like aluminum, barium, and strontium in areas where chemtrails are frequently observed. These metals are known to cause a range of health problems, from lung irritation to neurological issues. If these substances are being sprayed into the atmosphere as part of a geoengineering effort, it's not hard to see how they could mix with fog and create a toxic environment. Why now? You might be wondering, why is this happening now? Fog is nothing new, so what's changed? One possibility is that geoengineering efforts have ramped up in recent years as the climate crisis becomes more urgent. Scientists and policymakers are under immense pressure to find quick solutions, and geoengineering, while risky, is seen by some as a viable option. But here's the problem: we're the guinea pigs. These programs are often conducted with little to no public oversight. We don't know what's being sprayed, how much, or what the long-term effects might be. And when those particles mix with natural phenomena like fog, the results could be far more dangerous than anyone anticipated. Section 3. The health impact. What are people experiencing? Let's take a closer look at what people are experiencing. Reports of difficulty breathing, persistent coughs, and unusual fatigue are common. Burning eyes and irritated skin. Pets, too, are reportedly getting sick, with symptoms like lethargy, vomiting, and unexplained illnesses. Online forums are filled with similar stories, accounts of sickness seemingly tied to the fog. Chemical testing. Independent labs have detected high levels of heavy metals in rainwater and soil samples taken from areas affected by unusual fog. The particles sprayed during geoengineering experiments could be interacting with pollutants already in the air. When fog forms, it acts as a carrier, bringing these particles closer to the ground where they're inhaled by humans and animals. Behavior of the fog. Many have noticed that the fog looks and feels different. It's denser, lingers longer, and often has a strange smell. Section 4. The environmental cost of geoengineering. Beyond health, we need to consider the environmental impact. Geoengineering proponents argue that it's a necessary evil to counteract climate change. But what about the unintended consequences? Studies suggest that these aerosol particles can alter precipitation patterns, leading to droughts in some regions and floods in others, disrupt ecosystems by affecting plant photosynthesis, acidify soils and water sources, harming agriculture and aquatic life. In short, tampering with nature's balance could lead to a cascade of problems we're not prepared to handle. Section 5. What's being done and what can you do? The role of governments and transparency. Governments and scientists insist that geoengineering projects are still in experimental stages. One of the most concerning aspects of this issue is the lack of transparency. Geoengineering projects are often shrouded in secrecy, conducted by governments and private organizations without public consent. Why the secrecy? Critics argue that revealing the full extent of these programs would spark outrage. After all, who wants to be sprayed with potentially harmful particles without their knowledge or consent? It's time for governments to come clean. We need full disclosure about what's being done to our atmosphere, the potential risks, and the steps being taken to mitigate harm. How to protect yourself. Stay informed. While we wait for answers, there are steps you can take to protect yourself and your loved ones. Stay indoors. Limit your exposure to fog, especially if it smells unusual or seems denser than normal. Air purifiers. Use HEPA filters at home to reduce airborne particles. Monitor air quality. Keep an eye on local air quality indexes and avoid outdoor activities on high pollution days. Stay hydrated. Drinking plenty of water can help flush toxins from your body. Advocate for transparency. Support initiatives demanding greater transparency in geoengineering programs. What can we do? Raising awareness is the first step. Share this information with others and start a conversation. The more people who are informed, the harder it becomes for those in power to ignore our concerns. Demand accountability. Write to your local representatives and ask for clear answers about geoengineering and its potential impact on public health. Join or support grassroots movements advocating for cleaner air and greater transparency. And most importantly, stay curious. Don't accept the official narrative at face value. Ask questions, do your own research, and keep pushing for the truth. Section 6. The bigger picture. Are we fighting the wrong battle? The mysterious fog sweeping across the globe is more than just a weather phenomenon. Whether it's pollution, geoengineering, chemtrails, or a combination of all three, one thing is clear: something isn't right. Geoengineering might address global warming, but it doesn't solve the root problem: our reliance on fossil fuels and unsustainable practices. We have a right to know what's happening to our air and how it's affecting our health. Let's keep asking questions and demanding answers. Because when it comes to the air we breathe, ignorance isn't bliss, it's dangerous. Stay safe, stay informed, and keep watching the skies. Who knows what we'll uncover next? Conclusion. The next time you step outside on a foggy day, ask yourself, what's in the air I'm breathing? The answers may be uncomfortable, but they're questions we can't afford to ignore. Together, we must demand transparency, accountability, and real solutions for our planet's future.